Agenda is the gaming site authorization for the Aggie Foundation. We have a motion to approve the authorization. Oh, Brent,
We didn't know anything about it.
I guess I personally would like to hear someone from the Aggie Foundation, just to hear um, how they handle the proceeds from the bar, or maybe Rosie wants to address it. I don't know.
Okay, not normal. Okay, we, the Aggie Foundation, came, we have spoken with them to change out our gaming. It has nothing to do with, anything bad against the hockey boosters, is that it is something to where we can actually bring more funding into our community, because any of the funding that we got from the hockey boosters for having it at our facility always went out to anything in the Surrey community. It never went out anywhere else. It was either uniforms or popcorn machines or pizza ovens or more uniforms or grass for the football fields. Having the Aggie Foundation come in gives us more opportunity to have more funding that we can give out towards our community. The bar does have revenue, but we don't have the revenue to where we can be donating all this money out, because, I mean, we're in Surrey. We don't have a huge number of, people coming in from everywhere else. So in order for us to have an additional amount of money that we can donate out to the community, we're going to bring the Aggie Foundation in to help us with that. So as far as the other parts of it, I mean, Terry could probably explain to you a little bit more than what I can, because it's all run by the state anyway. So, Terry.
Terry Peterson. I'm the board president of Aggie Foundation. I had written a letter, giving it to Rosie, kind of explaining who we are, where we're from, a little history about us, where the gaming revenue goes to. I don't know, did you guys receive that, or did any of you receive that letter? Okay, I just have it pulled up here, just so you know. Like, I mean, we started in 2012 as a private nonprofit. Been doing very little for a long time. We have a scholarship out in Valvin, basically acted as a 501c3 kind of shelter for other groups and organizations in the community to use a 501c3 status to go towards grants and things, and we'd be the pass-through entity for that. A little over a year ago, we got our gaming license. We started off with a couple really small sites, started growing the last year, and now we're up to about 15, Big Dog being one. The board is really big on giving back to small communities. That's where we want to be. And our big thing is that the money stay local. So when it comes to that, that would be, I guess, our commitment to the site, to the communities we're in right now, such as Granville, Harvey, Hillsborough. That money is going to stay there. So I think that's a pretty cool way to do it. Of course, there's expenses involved with gaming, as everyone knows, when it comes to costs from distributors, payroll, taxes, things like that. But the charitable portion, which we're mandated by the state to set aside and to donate back towards the mission, we're giving 100% of that back out to the community. So that's where we're at on that. Do you have any, I suppose that's a really short version, I guess, but I'll answer any questions you might have.
So you mentioned your gaming board. Who comprises that?
We don't have a gaming board. We have a board of directors.
Okay. And how many people sit on that?
5.
Do you have a gaming manager?
Yes.
And who is that?
Mindy Norton.
And you said you give 100% of the mandated amount back to the community. Do you have percentages on
40% of all gaming revenue is mandated to be set aside into a trust fund and then used towards charitable purposes. So it would be 100% of that is obviously given back. We want to keep that money local to where the revenue is generated, right? So then, we're not like an entity that may come from out of town and donate a little bit here, but then bring some back to some other community, right? So that's where we differ a little bit. And we really just want to keep the sites happy and make sure that we are paying them as much as we can, because helping small businesses and small communities help small communities. So we want to make sure that the rent is as high as we can make it per each site.
But isn't everybody mandated the 40%, whether you have it or the hockey boosters have it, the 40% is the 40%?
Of course, but it's at the discretion of the entity on where that 40% is.
So it'd be on the
Attributed.
discretion of you or the discretion of the bar
Discretion of us, Iggy Foundation.
on where that 40% goes?
Correct. Just as it would be for New Salem American Legion up the street. No, it doesn't, but I'm committing that to you guys. So just as I did in Harvey, just as I did in Hillsborough, just as I did in Granville, just as I did in Velva.
When I did a little bit of research, I couldn't find anything as far as revenue versus expenses on any 501c3 foundation website. Is there any, have you?
Filed 990s every year, yeah, with GuideStar. Did you check GuideStar? No. Yes, of course there's financials. If you didn't find them online, I'd be happy to provide them for you.
I guess I talked to some people as well that are actually affiliated with some gaming sites in Minot.
Mhm.
I didn't hear a lot of good things, I guess, unfortunately. I mean, I honestly thought, I made the motion the other day. I literally thought the Alumni Foundation from Velva
Yeah.
was the Velva alumni that kind of got together, that went to some small little towns within the vicinity of Velva and Surrey and Minot or
Right.
whatever and reached out and
Yeah.
whatever. But I guess I don't really think that's the case
Not even close. We're not affiliated with the school in any way, shape, or
at
form.
all. Yeah.
No.
And
And that's a byproduct maybe of our name, which was coined in 2012 by a group of Velva guys. But we've had the last two large donation requests we've had are from Velva, and we've denied them because we don't generate revenue from there right now, unfortunately. Our board up to this point always kicks in a little money for the scholarship we have been giving out in that town. But as far as gaming revenue goes, we're trying to keep that in the communities where we can derive the money from.
where's the 60% go?
60% is taken for overhead. So I have a breakout in that form I sent out, but I have it here, so I'll just run down it real quick. Our payouts are about 90%. All right. So $1 goes in the machine, we retain 10 cents. This is an average, but long-term average, that's about where it stays. All right. 1 penny goes to taxes. All right. 3 1/3 pennies goes to our distributor. They're the ones who provide the e-tab machines and things like that, right? So they're getting paid too per click, and that's just a service fee for doing business here. 4% or 4 pennies, right? 4 cents we're legally obligated to set aside for the trust and use for charitable purposes, right? So that remainder 0.017, so 1 3/4 penny is retained for our overhead expenses, such as paying the sites, the rental fees for space for the machines, paying our one employee, we only have one employee, transportation, various, miscellaneous stationery and things that are needed to do the business. Also, we work with an accounting firm in Minot just to make sure that all the books are right. As you could probably assume, there's a lot of rules and regulations, a lot of paperwork to be done. So we have an accounting firm that handles all those numbers on the back end and files our quarterly taxes for us.
Do you have any examples of like funding that you've given out so far?
As far from gaming revenue,
Yes.
gaming revenue, the most recent we've funded was in Minot Open Minds. They do suicide prevention, mental health prevention. They have some pretty cool programs and some pretty it's more like active awareness type programs. So they do really good things in Minot community. So we've given $1,000 to them. Otherwise, we're kind of waiting on donation requests from here. You got to understand too, up until this year, our handful of sites were pretty small revenue, right? So, I mean, we had one of our sites, just as an example, did 0 in revenue the entire first quarter of 2021. So it's not like we're flush with cash at all, but we did grow exponentially faster than we thought. And we expect to, by the end of this next quarter, be able to give out a lot more of that gaming revenue.
Do you have gaming sites in Minot?
Yes.
I guess for me, when I read the back of the site authorization, I don't know who put this on the back.
That actually wasn't provided by the site.
I know, but it
was
came
something that we
from,
found.
yep. But for me personally, I trust Rosie and I know that she probably checked everything out, to make a good decision for the bar and for our community. But on the back here, it says that the nonprofit was established by Velva alumni for the Velva school and community. And I don't know where that information came from, but for me, that was like.
Oh yeah, I understand.
No
I have no
thanks,
idea where that came from either.
But then I got the story from Rosie, so.
Yeah.
I get it now. But that was the only impression that I had
And yeah, and
personally, so.
if you read that and saw our name, of course you would think that. But
Yep.
and don't get me wrong. I mean, if we can help out Velva, we're going to help out Velva. But when it comes to the gaming revenue, but we help out Velva in other ways, right? Like using our 501c3 to help organizations raise funds. So we're a big part of the Velva Sports Complex out there, which is a pretty cool template where you had local fundraisers raising funds, getting grants, but through us as a pass through, and we were able to build that, and that'll be completed this fall. And it's a pretty cool template for small towns or towns about that size too. So we'd be happy to partner in any capacity like that in Surrey or any of the towns. But yeah, I've never seen that or read that, and
It must be on some internet.
it could be
You don't have any spots in Velva?
0.
I think this is
tried?
from a Facebook post though.
That's kind of what it looks like. It looks like a
Kim
the
got
location.
Kim got it off of the internet because all we received was one page back in February of a site authorization. I signed it, pushed it to the state. So I guess in reality, these guys hadn't seen who you stood for
Right.
until just the meeting here in July, the regular meeting.
And I will say that, back in 2012, we didn't really know exactly what we were going to be. We just wanted to kind of stay together as a board and see each other and help support a community that we grew up in. We didn't know exactly how. But again, that was quite a few years ago. And although we still do that, this is sort of a new venture. And it was made clear by my board that they want to help small towns, small communities, and keep the money local. So that's what we're doing.
Are the
Your
board
letter.
members from Minot, or where are you from?
All originally from Velva.
But no longer in Velva.
Two of us reside in Velva still. One lives in Minot. Wade lives in Boston, and Josh lives in Sartell, Minnesota.
Your letter is here, by the way.
Oh, great.
So you know.
Any further questions?
Is there anybody from the hockey boosters want to say anything?
Hi, my name is Robert Teets, gaming manager, Minor Hockey Boosters. Love Rosie to death. We've had a relationship actually, this is our longest running site. We've had it since 1999. We, when you started on gaming, there were no e-tabs. So we had your blackjack, you've got your bingo, regular dispensing devices. So when you talk about the 40%, we've got employees at all those sites. Now at her site, yeah, we just had a machine, but the profit on that was probably, we were making $8,000 a quarter on a good quarter. During COVID, we still paid our rent. We took our losses, we took our hits. E-tabs is a new ballgame. When you're talking about 40%, if I didn't have to have any blackjack or gaming and just add e-tabs, I could run it on 30% expenses. Easy. You can go there twice a week, takes an hour, you're in and out. So the thing is, when e-tabs came in, these organizations that maybe have been around for quite a few years with nothing to do, there's no cost. When I set up a full gaming site, it's $2,000 for a blackjack table. It's $3,000 for a jar bar. It's $5,000 for a regular dispensing device. It cost me zero to put e-tabs in. There's no startup. All the startup is the cash you need to start paying out, which you're going to recoup in a week. The reason his numbers are small, he didn't have any sites. Now he's got a ton of sites. There's going to be a lot of money to be made by that 60% by somebody. I don't know, who. Takes me a couple employees to run 10 sites. That's fine. I think the bar should be able to do what they want. I don't like the way it was done. It was done in February, 3 months before you normally even go look for sites. I guess it's been, I walked in to get the site others in. No, Dave decided to go with a gymnastics organization. Still heard that last week. Dave decided to go with a gymnastic organization because his kids, he had a friend with kids in gymnastics to help out the kids. So I'm a little disappointed with that. A little more honesty would have been nice. But so interesting, a Velva organization has no sites in Velva. And any questions? And Rosie was talking about, the money just goes here and there. The AG allows that the bar can suggest where the money goes. Rosie's never been turned down for any money she's asked for. We just gave $5,000 to the school that they didn't even ask for that basketball machine a couple months ago. And we know there's more money coming in from e-tabs, and we know there needs to be more money coming in from hockey boosters to you, substantially more. But, and granted, we aren't an organization we'll give, I can't walk into a bar and say, hey, we'll give you 100%. And then, keep the rest. We are hockey and we need money for our hockey program. But I mean, I'm guessing there's Surrey kids that benefit from that. But I mean, had I been asked, certainly we could have give, this is kind of new. We've only been on e-tabs for a year and a half or so. We're feeling it out too. I mean, but so there's a lot more money. Like I said, I don't want to force anything on a bar. Whatever, if that's what they're happy with, I just,
Is it the tab thing where you can't do that, or that's what they want to do? Or
Can't do what? I'm sorry.
the pull tabs? Is that what you're talking about? The e-tabs, or is it, are you talking about electronic where they have the machines and away you go?
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding.
Well, you were talking about they can come in and have no expenses,
No expenses, yeah.
and that's just by doing like pull tabs, or is that?
Well, that's basically all they do. I see they did put a dispensing device in Rosie's. So that would have cost them $5,000 to put in, which they'll pay for in a week.
So they never had pull tabs before? I don't know.
I'm not sure if he's run pull tabs anywhere else or not. Him, Velva. I know Rosie's had pull tabs. We've had pull tabs in Rosie's bar for years. I don't know if Velva has operated pull tabs. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like one site that doesn't have
Which is, usually when you go in to replace something, you're going to have to offer what the other version already had. And more.
I mean, I don't understand why. I mean, you're here. If we decide to change an establishment that the owner wants to bring in for our gaming, his point of view of why they're there really is irregardless.
I guess my point of view is why it didn't go before the city council and it was just rushed through what city auditor's signature. Well, I assume that, but
Yeah.
we were-
Because, I mean, that'd be like me coming over to hockey versus and tell you what kind of helmets you're gonna put on those kids this week.
like I say, we've been awful nice to you over the years, Rosie. I don't know what
And I
you,
have not been unkind to you. However, some of your services, which I'm not gonna get into now, because that's absolutely nothing to do with this, because now I'm starting to get pissed, because that's bullshit.
like I say, that's it, whatever they decide, what, yeah,
Well,
I'm
guys,
just
what we
saying,
kind of got on our hands is, it's an annual license, right?
Yes.
Okay, so just so we're all on the same terms, and I just want to announce that for everybody and everybody involved. Application would come to the city on an annual license, and our ordinance says by January 1st. So we were a late roll on this anyway, so there was a lot of plays that were missed in this piece. And really what our board's looking at is making a decision on if you approve what's in place or not.
So my question, I have a question, and I don't know, maybe someone else who's been on the board for a long time, like Steve or Jenny might know. When somebody wants to change a gaming site, like I know they did at Devil's Fire, they changed theirs. Doesn't the gaming site or the bar owner come to the city council meeting when the authorization is presented? See, we never got it.
The
Rosie.
application would
That's the problem.
want to
The
be,
application was in end of January.
it would want to be put in actually by our
Okay,
December
so
meeting.
I wasn't there when Hockey Boosters was set up, so I was unaware of that. We had to be there, and Dave never said anything.
Right, right. And I
So-
think maybe everybody was aware, so the ordinance says that it's gotta be approved January 1st. So to me, that would mean that, this board would wanna look at an application in December, at the December meeting. And
see,
that
then
would
I guess,
be-
well,
Hold
as
on.
far as your ones, but just a quick thing. Gaming license annually start July 1st, so like most people have them approved. I mean, you can do it how you want to, but you're talking months ahead of when they're due. I guess you might want to think about
Yeah,
reviewing
it
that.
says here it ends on July 30th, 2022.
That
So
is-
That's correct.
That's for a semi-annual license. If you read all annual license or permits according to Surrey ordinance.
Oh, Surrey ordinance. Yeah, I'm just saying the
shall
state.
commence on the
State ordinance is June 30th then. New licenses start July 1st.
Well,
all-
this
it was the state.
authorization is from 7/1/21 to 6/30/22. So you're,
But our
Contradicting.
ordinance says all annual license or permit shall commence the first day of January in each year and expire on the last day of December in each year. Any semi-annual license or permit shall commence on the first day of January and the first day of July and expire the last day of June and the last day of December respectively.
that's only 6 months. This is for a whole year.
This is
So
for a full year.
these are wrong. These dates are not correct
Yeah.
then. It
I
should
think-
have
I
come in
think that-
January.
No, I think that license does not.
Those are the
apply to
dates the
this.
state requires, 7/1
Yep.
to
North Dakota
6/20.
Century Code
Whatever your
would
ordinance is, the state
supersede.
requires 7/1 to 6/30.
Okay.
And you can't have an ordinance that
We never
overrides
got
the
it.
state, so.
And the
Until
application
June,
process,
July.
would be much different for a new site coming in than it would be for a renewal of a current site.
No, exactly the same process.
No, what I'm saying is as far as, if the board has questions, to present their site authorization to the city council.
There's really no rule how you present, we give you a rental agreement and a site authorization and then you vote on it. There's no, that's up to you what process you want to have.
No, usually they would just approve the liquor license, and then they would, the gaming was just kind of an automatic deal with it. If it was never, if it wasn't changing hands.
It was a renewal.
It was a renewal.
But when-
and it was just-
But as far as what he's required to do would be the exact same thing we would have been required
But
to
when
do.
there's
This
been a
application- with
change,
This application, it came in January, February, like it should. We as a board
didn't see
should
it.
have, we did nothing with it. We sent it away. We should have known better that there was somebody wanting to go into that site. We did nothing. That's on us. That's not on them.
How would we know? I wouldn't know that.
No, it never did, but
Came
it
to
came,
Anita.
it came to
It,
City
it
Hall.
came to City Hall and I signed it and pushed it to the state. It needed to actually come to our board, which is why it came now. So we're trying to rectify that.
Yeah, it
that
should have come
step.
like in May or June with the regular liquor license. The liquor license didn't come, they had a special for that. It probably should have come at that time. I don't know. It never came. Yeah, see, I don't remember anything about it.
We didn't
No.
get it
I mean, technically, they're
until the
gaming
last
without a
meeting.
license, if you want to call it that, from July 1st till today.
And they're licensed. I
But
mean, they have a
technically, they have
legitimate
a
license.
license from the state. The attorney
Yeah,
general
they're
probably
licensed.
sent them a
Well, from the
license.
state, but not from us.
Right, right.
Right.
Because here's, because the application was City
Yeah,
was
and we
signed off.
dropped the ball.
Right, it was signed off, it was sent to the state. It didn't come to you guys. That was the reason for this process.
Right.
What do we need to do to rectify the situation so this isn't a long, drawn out so it doesn't get carried out? We need to figure out what you need from us to take care of the situation.
And I think what you're doing today, coming here, I think that's how it gets rectified.
Yeah, I mean, it just, I mean, it.
I mean, that's, yeah,
It's
it
just-
was our fault, you're here, and it is what it is, now we either say yes or no. I'll be honest, I'm a person that believes everything happens for a reason. I made a motion to have them come in, and then I withdrew that motion. I got more information over the last few days. Better judgment on our part, I think what I would recommend is to go back to the hockey board and use that. I haven't heard anything, and I don't wanna call things
But-
bad, I don't wanna do
Hockey
that.
Boosters is well established. We get that.
Correct.
We understand that.
I just
And
think there's
it-
something going on that shouldn't be going on.
And it's-
There's a lot of money involved in gaming, a lot of
We
it.
get that.
And I think we need to put that money, that 60%, I think needs to go to an organization that has been around, that's been part of Minot, not part of a statewide deal where they have liquors or they have licenses down in Park. I don't care what they do in Park.
Well,
I think it needs to be a hometown thing where it's on somebody that's gonna, I mean, our kids go to hockey, they go to gymnastics in Minot. So I think that's where we need to put, I think who was in charge of those sites need to be from Minot, I guess it was.
but
And I'm sorry. I just want to, I mean, I'm telling you the money is going to stay. The site authorization is 1 year. Absolutely. If we don't make good on this, kick us out. I do want to say that our commitment is to small communities, and us reaching out to Hillsborough or Fargo or Granville was out of necessity because there's a lot of sites taken, right? So we had connections there, so that's where we went. Second of all, if you want to talk about, statewide and state-run charitable organizations that do well by their sites and their communities that they're at, but don't have the commitment of the 100% we're bringing. You have New Salem American Legion in the town already. So I just wanted to back us by saying, this isn't, I get Hockey Boosters established and they have some fantastic sites. They've been in this game for a long time. I get that. I'm nothing against them at all. Rosie wants to go with us. And it's a contract ultimately between the site and the charitable organization.
Approved by us.
Absolutely, it's approved. It's approved by you. The paperwork is in order. We have the check is cleared, actually, back in February, I think, or January. So that's where we're here seeking your approval for 1 year to give us a chance, more than a week, to make an impact in your community. Absolutely, she'll know. And you guys will know too, if you want, obviously that's all. Oh, yeah. Yep.
So if somebody wants money, they would go to Rosie first.
just like they would
And then
have-
you would go to
and
them.
then we go to him and then fill out the paperwork. I mean, everything that they do is state.
The 40% is irrelevant. Whether the 40% comes.
They're
from the
supposed to
Hockey
give that
Boosters
back.
Or the 40% comes from the Belva Aggies, 40% is 40%.
By law,
That's
they have to
mandated.
give
By
that
law,
back.
it's a mandated deal.
So I have a question and
You're worried
maybe,
about the
I don't know if you'd want to answer it, but
Correct.
I'd like to know why you don't have any sites in Belva.
Right now, they're all taken by Velva Fire Department Gaming.
Then my other question is, and maybe Rosie would know, or you might know, from the Minot Hockey Boosters, we're talking Minot Hockey Boosters, and yes, I get it. Some of our kids, probably do play hockey there. I don't know. But my question is their money goes all over Minot. So does the money that you raise at your bar from gaming stay in our town?
Yes.
I'm talking about from the Hockey Boosters.
Yeah, the one.
Sorry.
The
I got your
percentage-
side.
The percentage of the money that they give us, which I don't know what the numbers are, it only goes to the Surrey, because it either
Okay.
goes to the prom or something they need at the school, uniforms for the kids, football stuff for the football field. It never goes anywhere outside of Surrey.
Does it all go to the school?
pretty much. The archery thing came one year, I got them some, blue socks.
Okay.
It is all taken care of in the city of Surrey.
So do you get financial reports from, did you get financial reports from the hockey
I have
boosters?
not received one since
So you don't even know how much revenue you're generating, and
I never know. No,
Will you with this company?
yes.
That'll be a monthly deal or quarterly or, just so I want, so you know.
Quarterly minimum, but upon request whenever.
It's public knowledge. You can get it from the state anytime you want. And if Rosie would ever ask, I'd be more than happy to give her the money.
well, personally, you should be providing that to her, I think, so she knows what she has to offer. And I understand you haven't turned anybody down, and I get that.
I guess we don't do that to any of our sites. It's
You
never
don't?
occurred to me to give them a financial report.
Could things have been run a little better? Without a doubt. As far as the information that you would have received. And whatever that is, to us, it's irrelevant. 40% is 40%. They get it regardless.
But how do you know?
But I don't get 40% from them.
You get
From
40%
hockey
from the hockey booth.
No,
No,
no.
no, because some of our money, obviously some of our money goes to the hockey
Because they
program.
live there, they
Correct.
give
I
their
get-
money in
I'm
mine.
gonna call it a stipend that we get.
Correct.
Per year.
But 40 has to stay here, I guess is what I'm saying.
No,
No.
not with minded hockey boosters. That's what I was
40%
asking.
40% goes to the hockey boosters and we get a stipend that, I'm gonna call it a stipend because it's a dollar figure that I am allowed to give out. With them, I'm gonna get 40%.
I didn't understand. I thought.
That's why I was
That's what I'm, no. That's-
40% has to go to charity,
Correct.
a charitable purpose.
Their charity, which is hockey boosters, goes to them, which I get a stipend of it.
So the hockey boosters pretty much gathers all of their sites together and then they give out the 40%, not necessarily meaning
No.
you're getting.
No, no, no.
40%.
We break down by site.
I know.
So,
Hockey boosters is their charity.
Right.
so can, an,
So of that 40%, we're charity. We have up to $350,000 ice field a year. And then a lot of the charity goes back to subsidizing the children's hockey. field.
Right.
So it might cost $5,000 for a kid to play hockey in Fargo. It might cost $450 for that same kid to play hockey in Minot because of the subsidy. The reality is 40% is fair. What everyone's worried about is where's the 60% going? There's a reason these sites are showing up because they're not interested in the 40%. They don't care. They just want the operating fees because they can charge whatever, pay all the money they want, and there's nothing to them minus some rental fees and anything else. So the 60%, take $1 million. What's 60% at $600,000? If you got 40,000 in fees, now you have $560,000 to just disperse among yourself, right? Legally. So that's all they care about. That's why their sites in Hillsborough, Fargo, all over the place, because they're not interested in the 40%. You can have that. They're gonna take their 60% and go all the way to the bank with it. That's the point. Where we take a ton of money and we put it right back into our program because we have to. Otherwise, hockey would be outlandishly expensive. And we have bills. We built a Pepsi rink in Minot, 7 years ago? I mean, this is huge money we're talking about, and it's all going back into the community, and it trickles down into this community. So that's what we're talking about. The 60%, they just want that for themselves, and they can do that legally. And that's why you're seeing this happen, because there's a lot of money in that 60%, whatever that end figure. So you guys should just know that. But on our end, we don't take 60% for operating fees, not even close. All that extra money goes right back into our program, or else out to these stipends that she's talking about, to other sites we have. Charities that they want. That's what we're doing.
so,
That's
th-
it.
so then like our Blue Sox team can come straight to Minot Hockey Boosters and request money out of your 60%?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, that's the,
And that's how it's always worked. So we get lost in the 40%. Yes, that's going out in some way, shape, or form. We have to be worried about who's coming. That's why all of these gaming sites, gaming companies are showing up out of nowhere because it doesn't cost any money. I can start a gaming company if I get the right paperwork done. I can get a keypad machine for nothing. And then if you bring me in, I can do it for rental fee only. And then I'm making all sorts of money. So that's where we're at with that.
Well, could I just say one thing that, I mean, obviously I'm not a large statewide company here. We've had nothing since 2012. We got a gaming license a little over a year ago. We had some friends that were either good at paperwork and had a site to allow us in, And now we're in this, right? I want to do right by the site. I want to do right by the sites and the cities. And there are large companies statewide that don't do things right, but we do. And I'm happy to answer to any of our payroll and expenses. Tell you the honest truth, I don't know what our expenses are going to be right now because it accelerated this past year and now we're at 15 sites, right? One full-time gaming manager, a lease vehicle, and that's it. The other expenses, I mean, e-tabs aren't free. You know this. The distributors don't drop those for free. Every time that button's pushed, they take a cut. So, and it's spelled out right for you right there. Our cost is the 3 1/3 cents.
And I get that. I mean,
Okay.
I sit
So-
here and I think about it, and you're saying what you say, and then you have hockey boosters, and gymnastics, and swimming, and all these nonprofit deals where that money goes back into their projects and rinks and whatever. Where would your 60 go?
We don't know yet. We can run programs here. We can run programs
I mean, to
at
me, it
any
looks like
site.
it's- To me, it looks like it's a business, so to speak, where this business is sending everything back into its business for everybody. And with your business, I don't know where it's going.
If we can give more than 40, we'll give more than 40. I just can't commit to that because I don't know what our expenses are going to be right now. We have projections, but we've been in here for a week. I don't know what it's going to be.
The part that I do like, we will get 40% back, right? The
Right.
60%, we kind of don't have no say in
Well, they could give more than 40.
That's
or
operating
get 40.
costs. That's really none of our thing.
Ro-
Um,
I have a question.
we're just going in circles here. The fact of the matter is that we signed a document. It went to the states approved. They're doing their, you have your operation going and that. So the only thing we're doing here tonight is to approve or disapprove of the gaming site change. So we can either vote yes or no.
So is this for the change between the two companies, right?
No.
Yeah, it's a change
Velva
from,
Aggies are already in.
yeah, but they're changing it. That's
No,
why we're voting on
They're
it.
changing it to the Velva
Yes,
Aggies,
that's what
Yeah.
he's asking.
but they're already doing it.
They're already there and
So it's
operating.
either,
Right,
it's to
so we
approve
just-
this site authorization. We never received a renewal application from the hockey boosters. We only received this application. So it's to approve this application as is or have the license revoked.
But I mean, just technically speaking, they thought that the gaming site authorization was approved in February. So you would have had a application turned in. I completely agree with Steve, I guess, on this, and I would be willing to vote right now.
So is this if you vote no, then they're pulling the gaming license? Correct.
Yeah, what happens if-
Accept their gaming license or deny it.
Or,
Then
yep.
they don't have no gaming license.
So I received an email from the Attorney General's office, I guess the head of gaming, Deb McDaniel, Director of Gaming. And the reason that I'm so concerned about this is basically it says we are receiving complaints of entities claiming to be affiliated with gaming organizations, going to bars, owners, lessors, and offering them incentives, which we believe not to be legal. Should the bar owner or lesser kick out the current gaming organization conducting in the site to allow another gaming organization into the site that the entity thinks would be better? But the bottom line is that bar owners do not pick who gets to conduct gaming in their site. The cities and counties by law determine who may go into a site. And then if the bar owner or lesser does not agree to have the gaming organization that the city approves in their site, then the bar owner does not have to have gaming.
And I just want to make light of, that email comes from the Wall of Honor. They're going in. If you want to be scared of entities, it should be Wall of Honor and Western. So Wall of Honor is a kind of a set up weird nonprofit, and they'll go in and incentivize bars to put this Wall of Honor up. Maybe you've seen it, and then they have to go with a certain distributor. So that's where that comes from. We'd obviously only offer what the state to the sites what the state caps the amount of rent we can. And we are doing that for Rosie. So disapproving of this, you'd be pulling games out of there. You'd be pulling $900 a month from Rosie. And I guess we just wouldn't have gaming in Surrey.
Why wouldn't somebody else put that in?
Uh,
But if you hold our license, then we're gonna be able to bring a new application to us.
As far as, like, I would assume they would.
all site,
We're taking the gaming license away then if we decide to go that way.
No,
you would take, I think you'd take this,
You're voting,
We're voting
this
no.
vote is about no change. It has to stay with what they have, is that?
no,
Yeah,
here-
our vote would be to go back to what it was, not the,
Well, she doesn't, it don't sound like you want them in it.
We don't have an application for them.
well, of course we don't.
but
He
that
had-
was
he
not our,
brought one,
that's
but
not
it-
their fault.
He brought one, but you didn't, it
Every-
wasn't accepted.
just every site authorization needs to come with a signed rental agreement.
So last year,
You can't, I mean, it's up to the site.
not per the North Dakota Century Code, it's not.
Oh,
But okay, so last
It
year,
needs a rental agreement. That
We
needs to be
don't have a
signed by the
rental
owner.
agreement.
So
last year is when you were set up. Do you have any numbers at all about?
I want to know what
payouts
the
from last
concerns
year?
are from
My concerns are
our city council. Okay, so, but if we never let anyone who was new start, I mean, we have 1-year contract. I mean, if it totally blows, well, kick their asses out. If they're,
Backside of that.
Let her
you know,
finish.
if they're doing something illegal, they have to run by the state laws. If they're doing something illegal, it's no skin on our backs. It's their asses that's gonna be in trouble. It's their asses that are gonna be paying fines or going to jail. It's not our fault. The paperwork that they have to do is immense. The counts that come off those things, the paperwork they have to do, the stuff they have to file, it's immense. And if they, I mean, anyone can be crooked, anyone can lie, anyone can steal. But if they, in order for them to prove that they are legitimate, someone has to give them that opportunity. And Dave Randash, who sent him to me, is willing to take that chance.
That was, one of my questions was, did you seek them out or did they
No.
seek you?
They did not seek us out.
They did not seek you
No.
out.
Dave Randash said he was coming in and he came in to talk to me.
Officer Olson?
I don't know how this works, but if you guys would go with their gaming license, is there a time frame that they have to wait before they can reapply for it? Is it just done for the rest of the year? What's the standards on that? That was my next question.
Yeah, I hate for her to lose money.
I don't know. I mean, I suppose.
I suppose they'd have to apply for it and it'd have to go to the state.
I have a site application right here. We can sign it right now. I can send it to the state. I can call it and have it word of mouth done. We can have gaming by next week.
I think they're asking on.
No, that just follows Century Code.
You're kind of forcing the bar to take you with no choice.
But the bottom line, okay, so we get 40% from my non-hockey booster, or, I'm
No, we
sorry,
do
a
not get
stipend.
40%.
We get a stipend from the
Yeah, we don't
40%.
know what
However, we are
40%
eligible
is.
to
That's
apply
my
for
problem.
a large port, and that 60% is huge, the way it sounds to me. And if our school needs money or any one of our sports teams needs money, they come to us and they apply just like any other.
One more small comment. I know it's not realistic, but actually in the statute code of the rules, there's a thing that you can deny or approve any ordinance you want, if you're not supposed to use financial reasons to do that. It's actually in the state law. So I know that's all we've been talking about, realistically, that's how life is. But that is part of the law.
Well, I think we should have a right to know where what percentage goes, like at least back to the community.
But the state said you're not supposed to use financials to make it good too.
All about money.
Of course, it is. All I'm saying is
He
what-
knows that, but
Yeah, I mean, the 40% that they would get for hockey boosters, they get that 40%. And yes, you have never denied anything, but there is an amount that they say this is what you can divvy out, because the rest does go into the hockey booster program. The hockey booster program is huge. The hockey booster program costs a lot of money. Here's the thing, we are willing to give this foundation a chance to give our community that money instead of giving it to someone else. This is the situation that we're in. It's that we as, I'm saying we as in Dave Randash made the decision, setting me here because he's working out of town on a site, that we are want to have the opportunity to better our community. Yes, Surrey kids go to mine and they use that stuff. I know the Hockey Booster program. It is an excellent program. There's kids everywhere. There's thousands of them, and they need money as well. But it's a big program. They're well established. We've been with them for a long time. Why don't we try something new to try to get our community some more stuff? Our students with some better uniforms so the younger girls don't have to run around playing basketball with one hand on their freaking shorts and the other hand trying to dribble the ball, looking like orphans. I mean, because they're not big kids yet, so they don't need them. We can help our community out. If it doesn't work, shit can them. We're only committed for a year. Things have been a lot longer and been a lot worse. I mean, we are willing to give them the opportunity so that we can make this community with some better things in it.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve the gaming site authorization. And I agree with Rosie, it's only for 1 year. If it's not the thing, then it's not the thing. But I'm gonna make a motion to approve it. I don't want her to lose any money. Sorry.
We have, we have a motion on the floor to approve the Aggies gaming site
Brent seconded it.
by Twyla
So does this,
and Brent second.
now this goes until the end of the year, and then we apply, right?
According to this, it goes to June 30th, 22.
I guess if I could add, I mean, they both pay you rent, correct? Or no?
Yeah.
So the money that you're losing just for Twilight is what money? Or you lose?
We get what we call rental space. There's paying for the space that the units are sitting on.
Both spots, both
Right.
entities do that.
Right.
Regulated by the state.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's
So whether
regulated
you
by
get the
state.
900 from Velva or the 900 from
It's
hockey.
the same amount. It
you
doesn't
get
make any
whatever you're
difference.
gonna get.
Doesn't make a difference of the number of machines and the real estate it's taking in the bar?
Yeah, we increased the number of machines when they came in because we moved stuff around. It's like, if we're gonna do it, we might as well do it all the way. And we have
There's
the
a lot of
maximum
machines
number
in
of
there.
machines in there that we can have for number one, the space that we have,
Mhm.
because it is a small bar. And so that it isn't crowded and it stays neat looking.
Like I said, I was for this not less than a week ago, and I did a little research, talked to some people, and I'm okay. If you look, it's not a good thing. It's just not good.
And
But you don't know that.
that 1 year thing, that sounds fantastic. I would rather go with the safe bet for the next year and then have something like on paper that they show us next year at application time that we can rely on. Factual stuff. I can't find anything at all.
Because they just received their license. This is new for
Exactly.
them as well.
And
So
they're on a
this
100
is-
spot. I mean, it's like it's on fire. Maybe they should slow down a little bit and say, hey, maybe we should see what we're gonna do. Instead of just fly by the seat of the pants. and
But
see
we're
what
still
happens.
willing to try them. I mean, what they're guaranteeing is on paper. Only thing that makes a difference now is what comes out of there. The money that comes out of there is gonna change the numbers. Every week it's gonna be different. Every month it's gonna be different because it's gaming. It's gonna change.
We have a motion on the floor and a second. Any further discussion?
One last thing, I guess I'll say, Ward County actually declined something from you guys last night, I was told. Was there some kind of a gaming permit or something that you guys wanted? The Ward County Commissioner said, something with the fairground?
Ward County Commission had denied, and just based on statute, ETABs at the North Dakota State Fair that were going to be placed there by the North Dakota State Fair Foundation. Had nothing to do with us. That being
North
said,
Dakota State Fair Foundation.
correct, at the North Dakota State Fair,
A local
The statute-
organization and entity.
the statute. What? What do you, anyway, the state statute deemed the North Dakota State Fairgrounds as a event space, temporary site. Therefore, they didn't allow ETABs. That's what, correct, from any company. It wouldn't have mattered who.
Okay, roll call vote. Twyla,
Yes.
Brent, Jennifer,
No.
Steve,
No,
we have a tie. I will vote in favor of it. So motion passed.
Thank you.
Adjourn. We're out of here.
So next year, let's try to do it in June. Okay?
May. May for the June board
May or
meeting.
June, yes, please.
You did make a good suggestion though, because
And also